Welcome to Most Love Wrestling, the place where wrestling is most loved. Another Monday ticked off the calendar means another Raw for the history books. And another Raw for the history books means another 5 MVPs to list. Before we do that, put a like on this video, subscribe to my bullshit, and hit the notification bell. It helps with the algorithm. So if you like what I'm doing and believe that the world deserves to bear witness, then this is how you can make it happen. So as per usual, let's start with the matches. Zelina Vega and Rey Mysterio defeat Chad Gable and Ivy Now in a mixed tag team match. A banger for Bron Breakker's Intercontinental Championship against Sheamus was turned into a no contest due to the interference of Ludwig Kaiser. The War Raiders wrecked Carlito and Dominic Mysterio, and Bronson Reed wins the rematch with Seth Rollins and has supposedly put him in his rearview mirror. Other developments: World Champion Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez have officially joined forces with WWE Champion Nia Jax, Tiffany Stratton and Candice LeRae, and the mission statement: to destroy Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair. Nia doesn't like nor dislike her new allies. As a matter of fact, she doesn't even think about them. On the other hand, Jade and Bianca, she can't stop thinking about. The Big Three interrupt this meeting and state that they also haven't come to this fight alone. Incoming Io Sky. But as the genius Albert Liv Morgenstein points out, you are still outnumbered. So who's brave enough to take the first swing? Lo and behold, Mummy is back like she never left, making the numbers even, and she's rocking a new face mask. I guess you can call her the undashing Rhea Ripley. And she's come back for Liv Morgan and War Game! Bianca, Rhea and Co lay waste to their opposition, leaving them all in retreat. Finn Balor understands that Liv Morgan is having a rough night, so he decides to take on the reins. He fires up Dom and Carlito with some advice on how to defeat the War Raiders. Or was it sabotage? Who knows? But either way, he trusts that the great Dominic Mysterio will work it out. His words, not mine. No spoilers, because I said this at the top. They worked out nothing. They got smoked. But Finn and JD, they had a plan B. And I don't mean that they smashed Raw last night and are now dreading the consequences. Nope, I mean they stormed the ring after the match was done to pack up the War Raiders, and like Finn said in the clubhouse when he was giving advice, go for the neck. After their mixed tag defeat, Chad Gable gives multiple slaps to the face of Julius Creed, and for some reason, they're all getting fired up. They all seem to become more intense. Apparently, this is the type of energy he wanted from the Alpha Academy all along. The Miz and Karrion Kross celebrate their triumph over the Wyatt Six last week. Bo Dallas has a response for that, and he looks a little disheveled, more than usual. He said, "You damned yourself. I tried to warn you. I am sorry for what happens next. Your hands will forever be bloodstained. You will lose what matters to you most. I never wanted this." Powerful words for sure. Fighting words most definitely. The ring general Gunther tells Ludwig that he has no business speaking for him, and he needs to go out there and he has to stand as his own man. He also asks him, does he still see the same ring general when he looks into his eyes? To which Ludwig says, of course, nothing has changed, which is when Gunther states that tonight he's going to deal with Damian Priest, which doesn't work out at all, because whilst in the ring, Gunther is a general. On these streaks, Damian Priest is a king. Now Gunther's left in need of some ice. The OG Bloodline try one last attempt to get Seth Rollins on side, but he still ain't having a bar of it. He says, I will stand and fight next to any of you, but not Roman. The consequences on the other side are too dire if that tyrant Roman Reigns was to get back into power again. Nope, can't do it. Well, he'll do them one favor tonight, and that's ensuring that Bronson Reed doesn't make it to War Games. And I'm not even sure if the bell rang before we got Bloodline presence in this match. The new Bloodline attempted to interfere, and just as quickly we got a response from the OGs. The two tribes get into another melee, which coincidentally clears the ringside and allows the match to go ahead. Seth Rollins was looking like he was about to put away Big Bronson Reed for a second time, but ended up getting distracted by the usurper and new tribal chief Solo Sikoa. This distraction resulted in victory for Bronson Reed. The Alpha Academy asked Kofi how he's feeling about the New Day's 10-year anniversary and how things are going with Xavier Woods. Woods steps in to address their recent episodes and speaks on their history with Karrion Kross. Kofi tries to give Xavier the advice to ignore Karrion Kross. Instead, it turns into a whole new argument, an argument which Otis tries to moderate, but Xavier, for whatever reason, doesn't appreciate his intervention, and in return offers nothing but disrespect and a challenge for next week. Bringing us to next week, we have the New Day versus the Alpha Academy and Nia Jax and Bianca Belair 1v1 for the War Games advantage. My thoughts on the show? Okay, so I was wrong, people. It's not the first time, but still, I didn't anticipate that Rhea Ripley would be returning so soon. I heard that she was going to be out for months, so I guess I can get a pass for being wrong this time. I thought it was going to be Bayley on the team, which would have made for some intricate storytelling surrounding herself and Io Sky. You know, the famous, can they coexist? For once, it would have actually been a real factor to think about. That puts us right back on course. We have a major storyline in the women's division that we're dealing with right now in Liv Morgan versus Rhea Ripley. But my question, if Bianca Belair hates Bayley so much, why does she not hate Io Sky? Another question, is it not overkill to have Rhea Ripley, Bianca Belair, and Jade Cargill on the same team? Like, let's be real, how are you supposed to beat that? This is pro wrestling, not the UFC or boxing. You don't get a puncher's chance here. There's no place where the statement, perception is reality, is more truer than in wrestling. And no, I don't think Nia Jax is enough to deal with that at all. I hope that this big firing up of American Made means that they're going to stop getting their asses handed to them. Make them combat machines. I don't see why Chad Gable would have to leave the Alpha Academy to only still be looking up at the lights. I want to see that this segment means something. Gunther and Damien's stories just always seem to work. They got some inexplainable chemistry. I'm enjoying them once again, just like I thoroughly enjoyed them over their SummerSlam collision. Both times I was thinking to myself, I don't really want to see this match. Then they start the build, and my whole sentiment towards the story angle has shifted. So shout out to Damian Priest and Gunther. This moment here was scary. Don't do it again, bro. I'm being for real. If you want to die, just say that. I can come and kill you, bro. But don't do this again. Please and thank you. But this match was a banger in typical Sheamus fashion. And as for Ludwig, I actually want him to be the Intercontinental Champion. Only issue is, Bron Breakker only just got it back. Bron cannot afford another loss so soon, unless it's going to be in a triple threat and Sheamus eats the pin, making Ludwig Kaiser the new Intercontinental Champion. But if I'm going to be real, I don't really think that booking is a good idea. And what is it that Uncle Howdy and the Wyatts plan to target? What is it that matters most to The Miz? I mean, it could be his face. Is it his face? Remember, he had this whole moneymaker gimmick, so it's quite clear that matters to him. But in all fairness, that could describe the overwhelming majority of us. So maybe it's something more uniquely important to The Miz alone, like his family. We've seen people go to The Miz's houses before and start bothering his kids and bothering his wife. Good chance we're going to do it again. Are they going to run up on his yard and involve Maryse? And let's be real, it's always good to see Maryse. It would be good to see her back. Last time I heard, she was terminally sick. So hopefully that has subsided and she could be involved in this White 6 angle. That's only if she wants, of course. And the Bloodline saga is still not official yet, but it's very clear that Seth Rollins will be entering the War Games as an unalived body, because he will most definitely be the 5th man.
Never again in my life will I team with Roman Reigns.
And he will indeed stand shoulder to shoulder with his former Shield brother and tag team championship partner, Roman Reigns, the guy he fought so tirelessly to remove from power. And it's funny how they say power like it's parliament or a kingdom or something, but when they do, it just makes Roman's reign feel even more incredible. As it pertains to the events tonight, we knew wholeheartedly that this was going to happen. Stevie Wonder could see it was going to go down like this. Sometimes predictable is exactly what we need. Also, praise the Lord that Bronson Reed won a fucking match. My only problem with all this is I thought that we was where we needed to be for Seth Rollins versus Roman Reigns, a match that I believe personally should be in a Hell in a Cell. Check the timeline. We had Royal Rumble 2023, WrestleMania 40, nights 1 and 2, and we can go even further back to the destruction of the Shield. I just pray that we are not going to undo all of that hard work. Do not fuck this up or WWE Creative are going to see me, I'm telling you. And now it's time for them MVPs. In 5th place, I'm going with the undashing Rhea Ripley. She made a return from a smashed orbital bone in record time. I hope she stays healthy. But honestly, she's made this War Games match more palatable, at least from a storyline perspective. And anytime people come out and have zero word for their ops, they can always count on my vote for certain. In 4th place, I'm going with Ludwig Kaiser. He went out there and made himself his own man. He went out there and stood on his own, stood on business. I dare say, even more business than the World Heavyweight Champion Gunther. He come out and rocked the shit out of Bron and reminded Sheamus that he's still lurking. In 3rd place, I'm going with Damian Priest. This is exactly what standing on business has in the Urban Dictionary. Someone jumps you from the back and you still manage to send them to the gulag. That just means that you're really about that life. As he said, in the ring, you're a general, but in these streets, I'm a king. And he definitely rolled over Gunther tonight. In 2nd place, I'm going to go for the OG Bloodline. I guess the only reason they're here is because of the weight that their storyline carries. If it wasn't for the magnitude of the Bloodline saga, and let's be honest, if they weren't doing what they was doing for the benefit of the Bloodline saga, they probably wouldn't even make the cut for MVPs. But that's just the thing. They're representing the OGs. They are coming out and throwing hands with the new Bloodline. So I guess it just is what it is. And number 1, the MVP, Seth freaking Rollins. Once again, he's got the biggest spotlight, and that's thanks to the Bloodline Saga, and it's making us all talk, making us ask questions. What is Seth gonna do? Is Seth Rollins gonna join War Games? What is gonna happen? Then he puts on a spectacular match, and his role in the story arc has advanced. Now, we are tuning in next week to seek answers for the questions that we are done asking of Seth Rollins. So that's why he's the MVP, despite looking up at the lights. So well done to him. And to be honest, Solo done his part for the game too. He really did. Just giving him his little acknowledgement, pun intended. But that's all I got for you today. Thanks for listening to my bullshit. Don't forget to leave a like. Remember to subscribe and leave your thoughts in the comment section down below.